Yeah, we're looking at shots there of Danilo Petrucci, who has been doing some great race runs, and we know he can put a fast lap in, and he's good around here.
Yeah, and he's a slightly bigger guy, so he can generate that little bit more temperature.
Yeah, but it's not as big as he was last year.
Well, that's true. He's a few less kilos down, but his frame, he's still big. He's still got long limbs. He transfers that weight onto the front tyre, and that's actually one of the things that actually maintains that temperature when you can load front and rear.
Here.
So the bigger guys will be an advantage now in these colder conditions. So could it be Danilo's pole position?
Well, is he a good shout for pole position, do you think?
I would say yes. And back to that, your nice sweeping line guys, those are the guys that are crashing, that are not hammering the front. You look at the Vizioso, Petrucci, these guys are hard on the front.
What about this
guy?
guy?
And this guy right here, yes, there's definitely a possibility he could hit pole.
Really? But it has been a tricky day for him. Cal, please tell me he's not going to go for pole position.
Cal will hang it out, no doubt about it. The confidence will be building every session. Every time he gets on the bike, he's improved this weekend. Just getting that step through again in Q1, I think he's going to be feeling good and he'll go for it. So it's going to be an interesting session.
Any outside chances, thinking of the likes of Jackass?
I got to go Rins. Rins has been fast, and I caught him before I left. Maverick, possibility. If he gets a draft, I think Maverick could absolutely.
He's been a race winner around here as well. He likes this circuit. And maybe even one of the rookies. What about Quartararo as an outside bet?
You never know. You never know.
He has been exciting. Right. He's been doing the lap times.
Let's head over to comms then for our last qualifying session of Super Saturday. This is Q2. This is for pole position and the big numbers. Neil, Keith, it's over to you guys.
Thank you, Susie. Sorry for interrupting there. I thought you were with me. I am so excited by this, as is Neil Hodgson. We were just saying how much that Q1 session had us all on edge here, and I think this is going to be even edgier. This is the one that counts, the first one of 2019, round one Qatar, round one qualifying, the top 12. It's 4 lines of very, very fast motorcycles, but who's going to make it work here? Good point from Colin Edwards as well. Several good points from Colin Edwards, but to follow up on that, the fact is that you can't lay off it here. You've got to go for pole, almost. Every man has got to go as fast as he can possibly go, because the line is so thin now between being either first or nowhere.
Yeah, or last, or pretty much. What Colin said, we were saying, was so right. The people that let the brake off early, carry the corner speed,
they're going to crash.
They're going to crash more. You've got to hold the brake onto the apex. You've got to generate that heat in that front tyre, squish that Michelin slick into the tarmac to try and generate some heat. And when I think about that, you think about your Marquez's, your Petrucci rides the same. The way Joan Mir there, and number 36, the rookie, the way that's how he's been riding that Suzuki as well, hasn't he? Very aggressive, sliding the rear, trail braking it in. So
David Emmett with his helmet on there on the right hand side. David Emmett, Motor Matters, you'll have no doubt been on his website. Look at this, Petrucci, he's just sitting up a little bit here. He knows who's behind him. So that's very interesting that Petrucci isn't going to lead Marquez round. Marquez has got Mir up behind him.
And all I can think now is, don't go slow, because your tyre's going to go cold,
yes.
And you've got to tip it into turn two.
Turn two's the one. You've gone right here. You've gone right at the end of the straight, then that turn 2. So then, Marquez up behind you. Told him as well. Soft front, soft rear, all the way around. Medium front for Nakagami.
Who's going to crash in turn 2?
Yeah, first.
Well, Petrucci's out of this lap already. Marquez is out of it.
Yeah, this is a bit like Moto 3.
Yeah.
You don't often see this actually in MotoGP. First round, there's Crutchlow that goes through. That wouldn't be a bad marker for Marc Marquez to follow. Cal Crutchlow. Crutchlow will be aware that you've got to keep heating that tyre. All of them should be aware of that.
Well, they've all messed themselves up big style there, haven't they?
On their out lap, they certainly have. They might as well come in and
that
put
leading
the warmers
group
back on.
Yeah, that leading group. It's someone like this man now you're thinking. Viñales been fast all pre-season, been fast this weekend so far.
And is sticking it down on his own.
I was going to say, can he do it on his own without a bit of a slipstream down that start and finish straight?
I think so.
Can he be fast enough?
I would think so.
It'll be close.
Turn 1. Maverick Viñales starts then his fast lap on the number 12 bike. Change of crew chief, change of number, change of livery, change of aero. Valentino Rossi has followed him just 2 days into the season. Meanwhile, Dobby time. What's he got for us, I wonder? 0-4. He's been building all the way through the weeks building up to this Qatar Grand Prix. Is Dobby going to give us a shock and go for pole? There's Jack Miller from FP1, smoking his tyres sideways around here, enjoying himself. The Aussies look good. He's on the full Monty this year, the 2019 Ducati.
For the first time in his career, in his MotoGP career, he's on the latest and greatest. He's always been playing catch-up as Jack Miller. This year he's starting his 5th season as a MotoGP rider.
The great thing about the beginning of any season, you just don't know who's going to adapt to their new kit the best, do you? It's just that tiny little extra bit. Are we going to see that from Jack Miller this year? Who's it going to be? Alicia Spargo, we know he's got one lap in him, Alicia, even though he's back there on the 41 on the Aprilia.
Have we mentioned Quartararo yet? Who's been so impressive this... as he goes faster.
Now. 55.0. 53.380 yesterday by Marc Marquez. It's considerably colder tonight. Marquez, the fastest ever man around this racetrack. That was last night. Tonight, though, this is qualifying. This is for grid positions. What's Viñales got? Look at what he's got. He's a second under that time.
Yeah.
Nakagami's gone top. He had qualifying 1 to warm himself up into this track.
So is this going to be a 53? Is it the first 53 we've seen so far
since last
today?
night? Yeah. Don't think so, but it's going to go across the line.
It is!
He got even faster in the final sector. 1.2.
And just what you said, Keith, that leading group messed themselves up completely, and Viñales, he's trying.
He really is trying.
Focused on himself.
Viñales then, well, remember what he was like here a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You know, Viñales has got that feel about him again, hasn't he? Got himself down in the doldrums last year. Now then, what's the answer to that? A 53.8 in these conditions, half a second off what Marquez did yesterday, is pretty impressive. This track is completely different to how it was last night. We are, what, 16 degrees of track temperature. Smoke that tyre. Petrucci, followed by Marquez here. Covers over the discs. It's that cold that they need to have the carbon fibre covers on to keep the heat in the disc brakes at the front. There's that paddle on the bottom of the fork legs for the Ducatis, or some of the Ducatis. Miller not running it. Viñales, Nakagami, Rins on the Suzuki. Speaking at the press conference, he said it stops better and it's got more horsepower at the top end. That's what you want.
Just what you want, a faster bike that stops quicker.
Morbidelli over the line. Good line from Morbidelli, going quick. Miller goes second. Nakagami, Crutchlow. Quartararo again, 54.2 from Quartararo. The 19-year-old Frenchman on the 2019 M1 Yamaha is absolutely showing up. Well, he's elder statesman, 40-year-old Valentino Rossi struggling with it. Quartararo's just getting down to it. Here's Viñales, top man so far.
There's something to be said, Keith, for not knowing any better. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't know what it should feel like, so it doesn't matter. He's just going to give it some.
There was a NASCAR commentator once said to me, that boy's too young to know what he can't do with that car.
Yeah.
That's just make the Texan nod. I can't do the accent very well, but being too young to know what you can't do with something is about right when it comes to Quartararo's status at the moment.
But on Thursday's press conference, you got Quartararo sat next to Valentino Rossi. Did anyone think at this point in the weekend that we'd be looking at Valentino Rossi not in the top 12, he's not even in qualifying 2, whilst Fabio Quartararo's currently sat in 3rd in a front row position?
Short answer, no. No chance. Viñales, Nakagami, Quartararo. What a front row provisionally that is at the moment. It ain't over yet. 7.5 minutes left of this 15-minute qualifying 2. This is the one for the front 4 rows of the grid. Who's going to be on pole position? Right now, Viñales has fired a massive Yamaha gun over the bows of the rest. Pretty impressive stuff. 0.395 quicker than Nakagami. Fast time in difficult conditions here. Thing is, when we're sitting here watching this on two-dimensional television, really tricky to see what they're feeling. Yeah. Those bikes, they're going to feel every little nuance in this track, every little movement, every little bit of feedback, and that just makes you nervous, doesn't it, as a rider?
Well, the problem is whenever it's cold, you actually get less feedback, don't you, Keith?
Until it lets
go. And that's what we're seeing at that turn 2. The riders are tipping in. The bike's not bobbling or...
But the problem is you feel stiff as a rider, which is also bad. You're putting the wrong kind of feedback through as a rider as well when it's cold.
they
Well,
all
that
come
was
back in together. Quartararo's going to come into his box. The team are going to say, well, first of all, he's going to look across and see Lewis Hamilton in his box, 5-time world Formula 1 champion. Yeah. And the team are going to go, yeah, we'll just put a new rear in. Okay, no problem. Nice kid.
Yeah.
Happy-go-lucky. Well, you are at 19. But do you know what I mean, Keith? Happy-go-lucky, friendly, talk to anyone. All he did in that press conference was grin. I made a note of it on my phone.
Sat there for the first time with all them superstars.
His teeth were dry. You could just see it.
Valentino Rossi being asked what it's like to have someone that's old enough to be your son beside you.
Yeah.
So Cal Crutchlow, 3rd row for him at the moment.
Marquez does not look happy. That's quite rare, you see that. You see that his body language there.
Yeah, an interesting situation. Look at this, straight out and on it goes Viñales. Doesn't need anybody else, doesn't want anybody else.
Yeah.
So Maverick Viñales, the man in provisional pole, brand new soft tyres, front and rear, goes straight out. He's not going to give anybody a slipstream, is he?
No, he's played that perfect. I'll tell you what's interesting, Keith, just looking. The top Honda is the 2018 bike at the moment, the old one. And Nakagami in second.
And the top, yeah.
That's quite interesting, isn't it? Which is sort of what we were talked about before the weekend started.
He locked that then, did he? He just locked it, got smoke off the front wheel. That would have been embarrassing.
Like I say, they don't know any different. Just grab the brake.
Just getting heat in that carbon fibre, which he needs to do actually. You know, it's so cold.
Marquez again has put himself in the wrong position because it's so cold. You can't go out and then start messing around, having a look around.
Got to get on it straight away.
Yeah.
Colin said it actually in the preamble before we got to qualifying 2. It's the riders that are going to put the stress through the front end that are going to have the best from this session. To get that heat in the tyre, you've got to be someone who attacks the corner. And that, Viñales has managed to do. Nakagami, Quartararo, Dovizioso maybe. Marquez you would expect normally, Miller definitely, Petrucci definitely.
So who's he behind here? Marquez is behind Nakagami.
Well, be interesting from a comparator, I suppose. Last year's bike versus this year's bike.
I think he's going to try and get close to him and pass him on the start and finish straight. But the problem with that, then, if you get a tow, what happens is you get into the braking zone.
You're going too quick.
You're going a little bit too quick. You try and brake at the same spot, and then all of a sudden you run on.
Not an easy track. Oh, how's this going to pan out? 4 minutes to go.
Really surprised at this. Really surprised what I'm seeing.
Yeah, because every minute, every second he spends not pushing that front tyre. Lewis Hamilton looks on.
This is playing into Viñales' hands, Quartararo's hands, where they're just doing their own thing. Look, this man's doing his own thing, keeping the heat in those tyres.
Quartararo front row. I wonder what money you'd have got on that.
I hope he can stay there.
So do I. So do I. Yamaha either side on what they would think, what people have been talking about, not being quite the bike this year. Maybe here in Qatar it'll work for them. Wait to see. 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Pole position is not yet set. Viñales passed this in the first sector. He's on the second sector now. Here's Dovizioso.
Oh, sparks then.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
Maybe off the chain, but...
yeah, we saw that last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So it was clattering its way through the swing arm.
Miller.
Perhaps.
Oh, Miller's been brave through the first sector.
Oh. Who's your money on?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Viñales, I know it's...
Yeah, I mean,
normally it's Marquez, but
I've got a little bit. Oh, I've got a little bit with Petrucci. I thought Petrucci might be able to make it work. Viñales made me jump there when we cut to him just then. Mind you, he might make everybody jump in a minute. Viñales, this is good if he can keep this going. Top gun. Maverick Viñales, second sector.
Miller's on a cracker.
Yeah. Can Jack Miller make that? Look at that, he's 2 tenths up. Dovizioso's good. What's he got through the second sector? He's lost a bit in the second sector, Dovi, whereas Miller is still pushing. Miller in the third sector, coming towards the end of it. It's Viñales making it work. He's through the third sector as well with red lights on, but only 800ths up on his own time. Miller's lost time in the third sector. It's all gone wrong. He's slipped back. So Viñales looks like he's going to put this a little bit out of further ahead, but of course Viñales, you would have thought, would lose time out of the last corner onto this straight. The Yamaha has not looked fast. Over the line he goes, 53. Yeah, goes quicker again, 53.5.
Wow. That's very fast.
And again, he picked up time in a sector that really, if the Yamaha isn't pushing off the corner like we suspected earlier, you wouldn't have expected him to be able to make sector 4 work. Miller puts it middle of the second row. We've got a minute and a half to go. Good stuff from the Pramac man. Nakagami pushed back to third place. Quartararo on a fast one. So's Dovi, but a little out on the third sector. Where's Dovi going? Second. Picks it up in that fourth sector. Goes sweeping past Aleix Espargaro. Viñales, Dovizioso, Miller, 2 Ducatis on the front row at the moment. Quartararo pushed back to row 2. Likewise, Nakagami and Marquez.
Oh, Jack's crashed. It must be turn 2.
Yeah. Well, Viñales still pushing away. 53.5 compared with the 53.3 yesterday from Marc Marquez is a great time from Maverick Viñales. Yeah, that was all big face plant. I hate them. When they go that quick, it's pretty much destroyed itself.
Big crash.
Yeah, that was a big crash.
Let's have a look at what.
That's the kind of crash you get when you do get the dew point moving. That kind of immediate, as soon as you touch the front brake.
Not mentioned Marquez. Where is he? What's he doing? He's down in 6th place.
He's down in 6th and he ain't doing anything much at the moment. Viñales is out of this lap. I think that's pretty much him done. Here's Petrucci with Marquez up behind him. Dovizioso's out of this lap. Viñales is out of this lap. They'll go off our screens now. It's down to Petrucci and Marquez. Checkered flag being made ready. We've got 10 seconds left of this session. This is qualifying 2, the final qualifying session of the opening weekend in the 2019 MotoGP World Championship. Pole position for the Yamaha man. It looks almost bolted on. Viñales from Dovizioso. Miller's just crashed. Is Marquez or Petrucci going to put this anywhere near the front row? Petrucci doing a great job. Marquez doing a better one. He's right closing down Petrucci now. Marquez a 10th out. Don't think he's going to be able to pick that up in the 3rd and 4th sectors. But that might well be a bit beyond him. We'll wait and see. Morbidelli going pretty well. But it is Viñales and Dovizioso. Quartararo through the checkered flag. 2nd row for Quartararo. Surely that's well and truly nailed on. Petrucci leading the Honda man.
Crutchlow faith?
Yeah, good for Cal Crutchlow. He's just gone straight on at the end of the straight. So Crutchlow goes middle of the 2nd row.
Let's see how
Morbidelli goes on that 2nd row as well. Great start for Morbidelli.
Let's see how fast this Honda is, Keith. This is going to be interesting. Can he pass the Ducati before the line?
It is faster than the Ducati, according to the speed trap this weekend. Whoa, Marquez goes on the front row at the death. Marquez then, Viñales, Dovizioso, Marquez, Yamaha, Ducati, Honda front row, Miller, Quartararo, Crutchlow, row 2.
Wow. Viñales destroyed them.
He really
didn't
has.
it?
Nearly 2 tenths quicker than Dovizioso, but Marquez, that was a typical Marquez. I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at
That
it.
looked hard work, though. He was looking for a toe. He was flustered. Yeah, he got it.
And that might have made the difference.